Yes, sweet. Don't need to remind Brady. Cool. So it's my pleasure to introduce Steven Feldstein, with whom I did my first state college Christmas bird count route when I was 11 or 12 years old. And he is a long-term member of State College Bird Club. We think this is his fourth presentation. Yeah, fourth-ish. And tonight's presentation is about the birds of Korea, but most of us know him from his most recent presentation as well about meteorological effects on bird migration. Just a super cool presentation. He's a world-class meteorologist and also a world-class North American birder, seeing more than 750 species in the ABA. Added a few more this year lately. We heard some cool trips have happened. And so always learning so much from you, and so happy to have your friendship and learning from your presentation. So thank you, Steven.
Thanks for the great introduction.
Real quick, Joe, is there a way to get video of Steven speaking, or is it just going to be the slides?
Okay, I'm afraid that the iPad was giving us some feedback, so we'll test it, but it's not 100%.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Good morning. The question, Brady, is if you can get the iPad's video to be priority, even though it's not the speaker presenter. I don't know how to do that. Because it might not be in the recording, but maybe if viewers have the gallery view, they can find Doug's video.
Sure.
You might be able to pin Doug's video to the top. I think there's a way to do that.
There we go.
Risky business. If you move your hands a lot, it's going to be really scratchy for them. I think it's going to be better if we use the audio off this and pin his video to the top if you can. If not, we'll still get your voice.
His video is pinned.
Good.
So you can see him and we'll hear him through the presentation one.
Oh, I need to hit OK, but how do I get OK? Because we're in presenter view here.
Oh, you might be. Okay.
Oh, there we go. I couldn't find it on this screen. Oops, I'm advancing the slides, but I'm not hitting OK. And I'm not familiar with Mac. How do you hit escape or back or something? How do we get into the Zoom controls? All right, now the OK is going to work. Beautiful. Now we resume presenter view.
While I'm here. Oops. I didn't want to do that. He's gonna have to pin that video again. I want to hide the floating controls.
That's okay. Yeah, good work. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And now we have to switch the presenter view again.
Okay. Why did it not do that?
There was a button that you.
Yeah, it was up there.
There it is.
There it is.
All right.
Just gotta
now we're
look
in
at, look
business.
at the right screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for very much.
You can be okay. It's better.
Kind of quiet right there.
All right.
Yeah, you're kind of quiet.
Yeah, I thought. Put the microphone on. That's better. Okay, good.
Out of my talk is my 6-month birding in Korea.
All the microphones are now.
Is that better? Is it doing anything?
I don't think it's doing anything.
Oh, it's on. Keep it up close to the mouth. Yeah,
But how many times we quiet, okay? This is better.
keep it close.
So, the title is, if you read my 6 months birding in Korea, we show Palearctic ornithology, common and rare birds, and the thriving Korean birding community. Whenever I say Korea, I really French and South Korea, both Koreans, when I say Korea, they use South Korea. Okay, so on the left is a map showing Korea. There's South Korea, North Korea. This is the Yellow Sea, I'm going to refer to it several times, and China, and Japan. And these are the places that I was birding during my 6 months. A lot of different places around Seoul, and different places along the Yellow Sea here, Southern Korea, Yasu, Busan, and also on the East Coast. I've been to a lot of different places in Korea while birding during my 6 months. So here's the question: when did birding start to become popular in Korea? In the year 2000, the first quality field guide was published in Korean, and this led to a big increase in the number of Korean birders. An interesting point is that the CEO of LG Corporation, Koo Kwon-moo, he was a birder. It's a huge multinational corporation, and he was a birder, and so he funded the field guide. Whoops. This is the 3rd edition of Field Guide, and this is my 2nd edition. And so that was when we did milestone in Korean birding. And the next milestone in Korean birding was the COVID pandemic, when there's an enormous number of people took up birding. Nowadays, the majority of birders in Korea are in the age range of 15 to 35, pretty young. And it's great. There are birding clubs in larger cities in Korea, in universities, and even in some high schools. In addition to the field guide I just showed, I used 2 other field guides. One being the birds of East Asia, and that covers Korea and surrounding countries. It is a lot more detailed. This is a really great supplement. And I use the Collins Bird Guide. I use the app rather than hard copy. And a lot of people regard this as the best field guide for anywhere in the world. And so that was a very good supplement too, even though it was for the Western Palearctic and I was in Eastern Asia. So my birding in Korea. So my wife Sugyang and I, we were in Korea for her sabbatical, and we were both atmospheric science professors at Penn State University. I birded 6 to 7 days per week from late September 2023 until late March 2024. 3 to 4 days per week, I was with some of the top birders in Korea, which was wonderful. And other days I birded by myself. And I saw this as being a 6-month celebration of my retirement from Penn State. So I went on 2 bird Seoul field trips per week. This is the birding organization in Seoul. And my connection to these birders, the top birders in Korea and Bird Seoul was initiated by an email to me from an eBird reviewer about 1 month before leaving for Korea over a mistaken ID that I made 35 years ago. So this was a mistake that led to enormous benefit. After I got an email from him, I corrected the mistake, and then I told them I'm arriving with my wife in Korea in 1 month, and how can I connect to birders in Korea? And he told me I should contact Bird Seoul. Did, and I contacted, and so the head of Bird Seoul, Gina Lee, and she contacted me, and pretty soon I was on Bird Seoul field trips, and that was really great. The neat connection too is her husband is a meteorologist, and their daughter, so it's really neat. So I traveled to birding locations in Seoul was always by subway, and Korea is one of the best subway systems in the world. It's the one ranking is #1. So clean, so well organized, bathrooms everywhere. Next to the track, they have these glass doors, you can't know where to fall in, and so it was a real pleasure traveling throughout Seoul. And to a birding location outside Seoul, I always go to Korean birders by car. And I ended up seeing 195 species of birds in Korea. And that was pretty high. Typical professional birding trips in the winter gave 150, 160. So I was the tail end of fall migration, beginning of spring migration. And but it's just the abilities of the birds I with that enabled this trip to be much, much more successful than ever imagined. And of the bird school field trips I took, most birders were 35 years old, most used binoculars, cameras with a long lens. Many birders are very highly skilled in all the minutiae, field ID, songs, calls, behavior, ecology, everything. They're great. So what is the best season for birding in Korea? And there are two different answers, depending on one is a foreigner or one is a Korean. For foreigners, most likely to go to Korea, these are their first trip in the winter because of the cranes, ducks, raptors, and winter finches, which increase in numbers in big time during the winter season. From the perspective of Koreans, it's rather different. Spring is preferable. That's because, let me show you, go back to the map here. In the spring, the birds are flying up northward along the coast of China. And if the winds are from the are southwesterly, so from the south, they'll drift out over the Yellow Sea. And then they'll concentrate on these various islands, maybe hard to see, but there are a lot of islands all along the Yellow Sea. And they bring in a lot of birds from China. And so, whoops. And so, as a result, birds that are normally uncommon migrants to the Korean Peninsula, they're common in these offshore islands in the Inland Sea. Birds that are rare migrants in Korea, they become uncommon. And then also get rarities too from China. So two different seasons, two different preferences. So next time I go to Korea, I'd like to go spring. So Bering Sea land bridge is important for transit for birds transporting from East Asia into North America. And during ice ages, sea level is lower. That's because there's a lot more land ice, glaciers, and so forth. So sea level lowers, and so this whole area now becomes water is exposed as all land between Eastern Asia and North America. That's important for birds North America. Now I'm really is to birds we see here in North America. So the four common species of chickadees are just seen in the Old World, and you see berry tit, Asian tit, coal tit, and marsh tit. One thing that's really different, interesting compared to here, these four species of chickadees all can occur in the same area, the same patch of trees. We don't have anything like that here. We have black-capped chickadee to the north, Carolina chickadee in the south, and hybrid zone in Pennsylvania, or out in Rockies, we have mountain chickadee and black-capped chickadee, and the boundaries and the foothills. Where this is very different, with four species all come together in the same location. And I read more on this, and the idea is that the chickadees we have are relatively new immigrants to North America, having come here 3 to 4 million years ago, crossing the Bering Sea land bridge. And so they haven't had time to evolve different missions, different songs, they rarely overlap. Whereas in Asia, they've been there much, much longer, and so you can see four species that will occur in the same small patch of woods. And interestingly, that I recently read that in England, they also have four species of chickadees, kind of the same area. The same species, marsh tit, another 3 species, blue tit, gray tit, and willow tit. And there it's an interesting problem that has arisen. People put feeders in the backyards, which is really common here, and that resulted in a population of aggressive species like blue tit and gray tit to increase tremendously. And they, because of aggressiveness, the marsh tit and willow tit were forced out. They had a difficult time finding nesting sites, taken over by the other species, and the population declined. Of course, what happened here, we had 1 species of chickadee, but in England, we have 4 species. They have this bird feeders led to this huge problem with population decline of marsh tit and willow tit. So, interesting problem. This species here, berry tit and marsh tit also feed on nectar. So when I'm visiting Korea for 6 months, I get to see the whole, half of the seasonal cycle. And one interesting thing here was the very was when the flowers came out in the spring and they want nectar, they tear off the petals off flowers and get the nectar that way. It's not like hummingbirds going from above. They just rip the flowers apart. And it's trees and looks of it afterwards, the flowers all over on the ground, but that's when they got the nectar. So I mentioned about the Bering Sea land bridge. So one of the neatest things I experienced in winter in Korea was that these 3 species were commonly found in flocks of chickadees, just like we have here. The Eurasian tree keeper, that's very similar to a brown keeper here. Their song and call is similar. Eurasian nuthatch is somewhat similar to our red-breasted nuthatch. Gold crest, similar to our ruby-crowned kinglet. And this behaves across the nuthatch. This is super energetic, just like our kinglets here. And so genetic evidence suggests that chickadees, tree keepers, nuthatches all came across the Bering Sea land bridge a million years ago to reach North America. And the kinglets is not so similar. So in other words, the behavior we see in winter flocks is just the same as in East Asia, with the way all these birds in the same genus would come together with flocks of chickadees here. And so seeing that behavior, seeing that behavior may have originated, was really special, really neat. Some fun facts about Korean birding culture. These come to me. About 1 in 5 birders use eBird. It's a small ratio here, but it's increasing more and more popularity. Most birders use Merlin. They use it mostly as like a field guide and for the photos. Lots of birders chase rarities. You will chase a rare bird in Korea and you'll see big crowds, just like here. There are no formal record committees like in North America. Decisions are made by ornithologists at universities. So that's one difference. And also there's recently been a big increase in the number of peer-reviewed papers by Korean ornithologists. Same in Japan, same in China. So that's also very, very encouraging. Most birders have sparklers here. I asked about maybe 25 birders in Korea if they had sparklers. Everyone knew what a sparkler was, and everyone had a new story. And that was really special. Maybe the most special story I remember is one woman, and her sparkler was a northern boohawk, migratory owl. And she just looked at the owl and just stunned and was captivated by birds ever since. And that going on with stories about sparklers. Most of the birds would speak English too. Some is pretty limited, some spoke extremely well and everything. Korean birding doesn't have a nerve stage like in North America. So the idea of birders feeling peer pressure in their teens, like teens and 20s, that doesn't happen. And so that's neat. And also birding had this nerdy reputation about 30 years ago. And I talked to birders in Korea, they'd never heard of such a thing. That was a surprise. So that's good. Now some of the world's biggest birding tour companies, they offer trips to Korea, and those trips are in winter. And also there's even one Korean birding tour company offering trips to Mongolia, Borneo, and Taiwan. They're not Korean birders that want to go on birding trips led by Korean birders. And lastly, especially getting older, there are multiple excellent public bathrooms in both city parks. You go to any park and you'll see it. Sometimes they lose count. Really nice bathrooms everywhere. And so you don't find that here in North America, but that's really great. So this was the first chase of a rarity, the gray lag goose. This is the subspecies Rubriostis. And this is the Siberian subspecies gray lag goose. The famous gray lag goose in Europe, which was domesticated probably thousands of years ago. The species is paler than the anomalous species from Europe, and this was a exciting bird to find. It had a lot of successful chases for rare birds in Korea. This is a swan goose, and I saw this in this wetlands near the city of Paju, and they buried their head in the mud, and were digging roots out of the mud. They found tidal flats and rice fields, and so you even see the individual, this one even has mud on its head. Get right in the mud and dig up the roots. And this, when I saw this, is a place called the Paju Sanan Wetland. And this is an interesting reputation city. It's known in Korea as the city of the books. There's so many book publishers that are based in Paju, which is sort of surprising to me. It's a really beautiful city, and it's a few kilometers from the border of North Korea. So like in North Korea, we're in debate, they do like front line, and they wondered why such a nice city would be located there. So a great place and really great place. The bean goose. Now I should say a lot of these photos were taken by people who were with me, the birders, and had their names listed. A few were taken by me, and I think this was one. I just would use the digiscope with my cell phone. And some who were done either way, I got eBird photos and put them on. And eBird photos would show the birds in the same kind of behavior, posture that I saw to try to capture the mood ahead of time. So this shows the Tiger bean goose. There's two species of bean goose. Right now, Tiger bean goose, tundra bean goose, they are really hard to tell apart. Most of them I gave up on. Some were clear, many really hard. And a lot of the best green birds find these two to be really difficult to distinguish. These were seen in the southern part of Korea in the sun. These are easier ones to distinguish. They have these longer bills and a flat head profile, indicating the Tiger bean goose. And the tundra bean goose have more rounder heads and shorter, stubbier bills. They're really hard. One thing I think you can appreciate with tundra bean goose, which I haven't seen tens of thousands, is that the speed to call a similar to rated wing goose. I hate them so much and saw them so much that sometimes reminding me, sometimes you listen to a catchy song and can't get out of your head. There are days I couldn't get the calls of a tundra bean goose out of my head. I'd be in the subway, I'd be at home in an apartment that's the thing I was staying in, and people hearing tundra bean goose. Now that's gone, but it's a nice thing. So it's a good spot. There's another rare bird that we chased. This is the Yuki-Isa species, which is a separate species, field swan. And this is a whooper swan. I'll show a whooper swan next slide. And here's the Bjork swan. Both are juveniles, seen by the brown feathers on the head. But the whooper swan has this more pale yellow area, pointed. And the Bjork swan is rounded like that. And this was fun for me. I just went and there was a big crowd of people looking for the Bjork swan. And I looked in my binocular, and I was the first one to find it. So all the people came up to me, thank you for finding it. But of course, there's no skill on my part. I just happened to stumble across it. And so it's nice to get all the thank yous for something really lucky done. And so nice bird. So whooper swan. We were in Tucson in early November, and I went to a birding place about 1 hour by subway west of Tucson, and I talked to, and I was told that whooper, and they're really early for whooper swans. If I'm lucky, I'll see 2 or 3 because it's beginning of November. So I took the subway, got out of the subway, walking toward the river that I spoke to, Naphtone River. And as I'm walking to the river, I see this pool. The whole wall has a painting of a whooper swan. So I think, okay, that's a good sign. I have to see whooper swan. Then I reach the river. I'm walking south along the river maybe an hour. Then I come to the children's playground. And at the playground, see what's like a children's rocking horse. But it's not a horse. It's a whooper swan. So you can sit on the whooper swans and rock. And so I think I'm really going to have to see the whooper swans after having those 2 experiences. And then a short time later, I saw this big white bird flying, and I knew what it was. It was the whooper swan. And then I saw more and more and more, and it seemed about 300, not 2 or 3. So it was wonderful. And this is, I think, photo I took of the whooper swans with bees and others. And so that was good. And another time I went to the same river, and as it went up, it took a different subway station back. There were paintings on the photos on the walls of the subway stations of whooper swans. The whooper swans seem to be everywhere in the culture. the a lot of more whooper swarm, and it's typical how you see them groups of 10 or 20, and they will call loudly. The whole, all you hear is the kind of this call the whooper swarms everywhere. Very good. For the shellbach, this is an interesting bird. It's found from East Asia, all Eastern Europe, all the way across Asia into parts of North Africa, and so a huge range. The nest is sea level, 4,800 meters. Up in areas, high plateaus, mountains, rivers, lakes, huge range of habitats. And the gull next to it is either a Mongolian gull or a Vega gull. And I'm sure, as many of you know, herring gull is split into 4 species in eBird, and they include the Vega gull and Mongolian gull. In the middle of winter, it's pretty easy to distinguish Vega gull and Mongolian gull because the Vega gull have skewed heads, and Mongolian gulls don't. There's also a difference in length of the genital coverts, which you really can't see well in the photo. But this photo was taken, I think, in February or March. They've already molted, and the Vega gulls have waffles shooting off the head. So that Vega gull or a Mongolian gull. Anyone here is an expert, you can say. So early winter, I saw lots of gold. Mandarin duck, really spectacular duck. And usually I often see hundreds, streams, small lakes, next to rocky areas. They're in the same genus base down here, the next tree cavities like wood ducks. And in Korea, Mandarin duck is a symbol of a great marriage and many children. Common in marriages to give, the couple, the wood ducks. And great birds, and it almost didn't seem like they're real or alive when you see them. They're so extraordinary, but then they're very aggressive to each other, and then you can see they have their own personalities. It seems very much like birds. This was a nice fun surprise. So I went again on a birding trip, and we went to a place called Gangsal Wetlands, and KBS television crew joined us. KBS is the biggest TV station in Korea, and so it's enormous. I guess it would be like years ago, CBS, NBC, ABC, all in one. So a lot of people will watch it. And so the interview and videos, I got to be national television in Korea. And I want to point out this one bird, hope the video works. This one here in a comment later, go ahead and strike about it. So I hope I can get the video to work. Have you listened to the video as long as it works? Okay, looks like it's been working. The bar came up at the bottom. You click on the bar.
서울에서 포함한 수백 종의 새가 산다는 사실 알고 계셨습니까? 이런 도심 속의 새들을 찾고 기록하며 자연과의 공존을 고민하는 시민들이 있는데요. 이슬기 기자가 만났습니다.
한강변 습지에 사는 새를 찾아 나선 사람들. 살며시 흔들리는 덤불 하나도 무심히 지나친 도심 속 새를 찾고 기록하는 활동활동. 5년 전 새에 관심 있는 시민 몇 명이 SNS를 통해 모이면서 시작했고 벌써 800여 차례 서울에 서식하는 새들을 기록해왔습니다. 찾아낸 새는 164종, 16,000여 마리에 이릅니다. 참매, 새후리기, 노란부리 저어새 등 천연 기념물과 멸종 위기종도 여럿입니다. 천연 기념물인 흰꼬리 수위를 50% 집요하게 내쫓는 고기 드는 모습도 포착합니다.
저도 이번 단어를 처음 봐요.
흔히 보이는 오리도 자세히 보면 지난해와 올해가 또 다릅니다.
12월하고 비교했을 때
도심 속 탐조 모임은 선진국에서는 보편화된 시민 생태 활동입니다. 새와 서식지에 대한 관심이 곧 우리가 사는 도시 환경에 대한 성찰로 이어지게 됩니다.
Yes, everywhere. in the city, outside the city.
오, 덮어뒀잖아.
That was a lot of fun, and give you an idea how popular it is. Several of my wife's friends from middle school and high school called her short masters of on and said, "Did I just see your husband on television?" While I was being interviewed, the interview was about 5 minutes long, which for me would probably showed 5 seconds. And what was the back of my mind was, what if the people find their life bird while I'm interviewed? I can't leave. And that almost actually happened. I pointed out a bird to you called the bullheaded shrike. That's from a couple of minutes after I was doing the interview on the same bird, and I just tweaked that in. That was the life bird bullheaded shrike. So that's what I was thinking about if you're going to be, don't want to miss a life bird, and it almost did. So there were half-day, I went on many half-day virtual field trips, and we usually had 10 to 50 participants. They're between 50 and 35 years old. And what we would do is after half-day birding, we'd have lunch in a restaurant, then go to a coffee shop to discuss birds. And we would discuss field identification and science topics, such as something we saw, bird behavior, role, intuition, relationships, etc. And all through the last 2 to 3 hours. And it was really just great to have first have lunch together and then special times of water just talking about birds and the science of birds. To give you one neat example, after one field trip, the birders were given a computer code in programming language R, and the aim was to generate a phylogenetic tree diagram of the bird species recorded in the soil. That's really big in the coffee shop. This is Michael teal, and this is a bird that rests on the water in the day and they feed in rice fields at night. And that was another video. And this was one of the most incredible bird sights I've ever seen. Thank you.
Oh,
That's the rice water for daytime, and then they enter the rice fields at night. Estimated was 500,000 bicycles. I just thought maybe this is what happened. It just looked like here in Pennsylvania in the 19th century. This was at 45 hour. Invader microphone.
you really want to know how you counted 500,000.
I didn't count, other birders did. I estimated way under that. So. But I read there were flocks up to so 500,000 isn't so far off. So the only experience I can say is comparable for me, seeing the wildebeest migration in Tanzania and Serengeti, Tanzania, importantly in wildebeest. Because of my strong preference for birds, this is probably #1. So I mentioned about chasing a lot of rare birds, but this is the rare bird that we've done. And right in the middle there is a red crimson poacher, red-headed, black breast, brown back, and white sides. And that brought a lot of birders to the national weapon. That was really exciting to find. Common poachers were very common. Oftentimes we see 10,000 today. One thing that surprised me was that in the beginning of the spring migration, I see mostly males, and thought would be gradually a shift to more females later in spring migration. It never happened. Maybe a slight shift, maybe 5% female to 10% female toward the end of spring migration. And so I don't know why, but I wondered maybe males nest in southern part of South Korea and having winter in the southern part of South Korea, and maybe females more nest in China, and all happens. I really don't know. Also a fruit is stuck here, and here that is. You see most of all reddish brown, white Edmonton clovers. That's another rare document prairie. This I got eager, and I didn't find any really nice photos. And this is a spectacular, common merganser, and it's all across Eurasia and then from the polar forest. That's a quite common merganser. Scaly side merganser, great cormorant, the same species here. And the scaly side merganser was a real treat. I remember when I started birding 40 years ago. I see the big ranges for three species of mergansers in North America. Huge, just has a huge range. And the species scaly side merganser has a tiny range in northern China and southern Siberia. And I wondered, how does this merganser have such a tiny range compared to the others? And it looked so neat. And when I saw it, looked at it in the field guide for the first time 40 years ago, I thought, I've never seen this. But we made a successful search for it, and here it is. So you can see a lot of similarities with red-breasted merganser, and it has unlike in merganser here in this case, I named after. It's found in fast-moving streams, and when they nest, where they breed, it overlaps with the Siberian tiger. I told birders, I'd rather see this than the Siberian tiger. I thought that was, really too extreme. So that's why I felt that movie. I've never seen this Siberian tiger. This is just a great book. So, translation of books from English to Korean. So, we all know that in field guides that publish in local languages is how they appreciate it. But in Korea, it's a very highly educated population. Some people speak English, but it's really special to find some Korean birders. And the scientific book is translated from English into Korean. And for example, it's called Weidenstein's book, A World on the Wing. A lot of us know, great book. It was published in Korean in 2023. And the way that Korean bird described it, that's such a treasure. They read a book about the science of birds in Korean. They don't need to look up dictionaries, they can just read it. And they told me it's written so well, so clearly. And some birders would meet at groups and discuss birds that have been translated, discuss bird books that were translated into Korean. White-naped crane. So we went to Chorwan to look for three species of crane: white-naped crane, red-crowned crane, hooded crane. And during the trip, I saw 4 species called the common crane. So these cranes used to breed in North Korea, but with famine in North Korea, they used it for themselves. And some crane farmers, they put grains at feeding stations to bring in these cranes. They're really successful. Big numbers of cranes. I've been on the International Crane Fish website that started this and maybe the best place in the world for the cranes. Just up in southern, right up against the border with North Korea. This is one of my favorite birds. White-coat teal with the massive flocks is one of my favorite, and red-crowned crane was another favorite. This is a family group, 2 parents and young with their brown neck, and one in the flight. See dollars. I appreciate dollars. I enjoyed it in Russia, and they just made me see more exotic than like the ones here in the Black Ball. So before I saw the cranes, I went to the Liam Museum in Seoul. And this is a vase from the 13th century. And you can see cranes there. And those are in great crown cranes. These other artwork from more than 1,000 years ago in these cranes. And so that was just, it was special to see artwork from 1,000 years ago of cranes, and then you see cranes right in front of you, really spectacular birds. I can appreciate why the artists appreciated great crown cranes 1,000 years ago. And I felt as if somehow we're to meet these artists, I thought we could be friends with them. We have something really in common with appreciation of great crown cranes. So in Korea, it's a symbol of long life and peace. And it's a very special bird in Japan and China too. And it's also the symbol of Japan Airlines, if you've noticed. Barked Goblet. Talked a lot about barked Goblet in my talk, my previous talk. And so our group of birders, me and other birders, we arrived at the place on the Yellow Sea. Perfect timing. Barked Goblet had a 7-day non-stop flight, and we arrived there the day after they arrived. And I think this video too. And see, these are bar-tailed goblets. You can see them moving. These are great knots, probably coming from South Asia. The bar-tailed goblets all feeding. The Asian curlews from China. They're sleeping. They're much shorter flight, and the great knots are eating food. 7 days, and then really do that after the food into the practice. So I felt it was really special to see them that way after I studied them. And I just so I couldn't resist with the weather maps, and this shows sea level pressure. So this is the departure date to the high pressure. In the other hemisphere, the winds are counterclockwise around a high. So the birds, what they did was they waited for 3 days. The reason why I know the wait, the timing, I talked to a bar-tailed goblin researcher who was in New Zealand, and he told me they departed on March the 19th. So I can see that they left on the third consecutive day, southerly winds. This was here, and so this is the direction the winds when they departed. Sea level pressure isn't good for determining wind direction, and I don't want to shift too much, but winds continued to be southerly over here, then the winds become even stronger easterly over here, bringing them to the higher longitude, and then on day 6, we have another high, and we have southerly winds. So the birds departed on a date from New Zealand where they had 6 consecutive days of tailwind. It's pretty remarkable how they know the time that just right to make the migration. The last day, day 7, we don't show here, they're just weak crossings before they reach Costa Rica. So this is a photo taken on the departure day. These are birds leaving New Zealand heading for where I was in Korea. And of course, I don't think they were finding the same birds as possible. And so, I have video shows them arriving, and researchers just contemplated that 80% of bar-tailed goblets on the Yellow Sea coast in Korea, they come from New Zealand, 20% come from Australia, and then they all go to Western Alaska. So these are, in some sense, our birds. From New, and so you see what I call lovebirds nesting in Alaska. See them in New Zealand, saw a video in Korea, and then they're on the way to Alaska. So this is an amazing, incredible picture. And again, like in my talk last year, they shrink the size of the digestive system, some of the intestine, and big lot of the fat and muscle. Not as expensive for the 90 flight as going from Western Alaska to New Zealand, but still impressive. This is the bird I saw at the Korean National Zoo. It reminded me of there are Korean here in Penn City, so this is much massive. It seemed like it's several times the size of the Penn State campus. And this bird, I couldn't see it. I looked at my binoculars from 15 meters away, I couldn't see it. I looked in my scope at the distance, I couldn't see it. And then I was told, I was bobbing up and down, and I finally saw it. I went on a Palearctic trip. I think you go in Korea, just starting up now. And part on the Palearctic trip for me was speckled guillemot, the outstanding nest in the coast of Russian Far East. And you can see we saw it really well up close. And that was just wonderful. We went to the stork. This is really considered a subspecies of white stork, found in Eastern Asia, but white stork in Western Asia and Europe. And the biggest difference is the black bill compared to the red bill or white stork. Black-faced spoonbill. This is a real treat. This is the rarest of the 6 species spoonbills in the world. It's nice IUCN endangered species, 1,500 pairs in the world. In Korea, they're raising them in captivity and releasing. This was taken at a place called the Black-faced spoonbill Eco Center, especially set up for black-faced spoonbill. This is my point. Turned out well, I think. At least on my standards. This is Walker. So there's this island right next to North Korea. They went there to see different 5 species of eagles and some rare. This vulture is a huge vulture, same size as the California condor. It's the second largest size vulture in the world. And it's really neat. It's a farmers feed similar vulture. And this is rare away from where they breed. Breed in Mongolia in good numbers. They're in Korea in good numbers. And they're hard to find anywhere else. And so, and the farmers feeding that really helps. One time I saw throwing what looked to be wild boar out on the ground for some exposures. And to give you a sense of the size, this is a photograph I downloaded from the web. This is a vulture. These are large-billed crows, which are a little bigger than an American crow. They look tiny. The first time I saw a large-billed crow on the ground next to Steven Feldstein, I had a strange feeling that this is a zero-dimensional bird. It looks so tiny. And of course, it can't be zero-dimensional, just like a dot. It just looks so small. Here, eagle, another eagle we saw on the same island, Go. And this I got this from eBird because it was right overhead, right above us. We saw this kind of view, big imperial eagle. It's found in Eastern Europe, all the way across Asia. The ones in Eastern Europe, I think they're in Sub-Saharan Africa, and the ones in Eastern Asia, in South Asia, and so. And this is a target building. Because when we put it on an island, gave it a try, and stopped. This is an interest identification problem. On the left is the Eurasian goshawk, a juvenile, and the right is Eurasian sparrowhawk, which I think is a juvenile or a Dontrema has a brownish tinge. And when I first saw the bird, I was thinking, hey, this is an Eurasian goshawk. Eurasian goshawks and Eurasian sparrowhawks are really similar. The way to tell this is a Eurasian sparrowhawk. It's got its small bill and a thick body. So it's really a big challenge, Eurasian sparrowhawk, and Eurasian goshawk. And the juvenile, and what makes it easier to identify, the Eurasian goshawk is easy to identify. That is street, and any other larger sectors of street. Southern sea eagle. I went to the spot with the bird, and the first thing I saw was exactly what you would hope for when you see a group of birds looking for a bird. What you hope for is a bunch of birders, scopes looking at the bird. That's what was there. And amongst the many photographs on eBird, this was the best one. Not a good one, but that's the best. And one to show was the one that I saw. You can see the white shoulders on it over there, the extensive white belly. And so I think coming from the photograph, and that's me, it's the Southern Sea Eagle. I saw the Snowy Sea Eagle on Maine. We were just driving through Maine, and he was nearby. We went across, and after seeing it, it was incredible seeing bird in Maine, but I felt like it wouldn't be complete if I saw it in Korea. So that was good. Eastern buzzard. There are 3 species of buzzards. The only one common is eastern buzzard. The other is black-legged buzzard, like at home. The one found on the light is the light morph and upland buzzard. And this to be running a lot of red hawks in ecology, found in city parks, and most small rodents. And the color reminded me of red hawk. I don't know how closely related it is, but it reminded me of red hawk. It's one of the most common buzzards. Eurasian eagle owl. Sort of a counterpart to the Eurasian owl. And this is the female on the left, and this is the nearby male. Powerful owl. Long-eared owl. Same species is found in North America, but it has a much paler facial disc and also paler underparts compared to the subspecies that we find in North America. This is the dominant species, subspecies Polis. Isabelline stripe. I'm off the past screen. So this was the first record for Korea. We went on a chase of 3.5 hours with a group of birders. This bird was found by a high school student, a young woman. I got there, we didn't know where to look. Then we saw a big group of birders, they went there and saw the person on the fence. That we got it, which is great. I got to meet the young woman who found the bird. This is a hard bird to identify too. This is a vagrant, but there's some other vagrants, like, red-back shrike is similar. And she was able to ID it and notify people, and, it has a growth, huge number of birds from all over Korea that you can see. When I met her, I was thinking, I hope they can know this bird makes her a bird festival. I hope because of all the attention she got to find. I should be magpie. River. My favorite bird in Korea, and it's even my favorite fruit in Korea, which I've ever been. So I'm happy to show that. Two favorites, all in one. Now I can go forward and it's aggressive, like there's a lot. Two really common birds, two Oriental magpie on the left, very similar to the Asian magpie and magpie, and an arctic crow on the right, which is a common crow. One key feature and application is the steep forehead. Eurasian skylark, very special bird. We usually see them on the ground like this in the winter. And to me, it was the most special is because of the song. And my father-in-law was born in North Korea, and I asked him what was this, and he came to South Korea in 1948. And I asked him maybe 10 years ago, what was your favorite bird growing up? No more than maybe 20 years ago. I asked him, what were your favorite birds growing up? And he said, Eurasian skylark. They kind of course it slightly up and up and up. You can barely see them. They're singing the whole time. You may not see them for 20 minutes. Then they come down, crash down, and move down, and they go up. But the display is incredible. The song is incredible. I know there's been a lot of poems written in English and European poets play Eurasian skylark. So one day, about years ago, I asked my father-in-law, so I'm going to play a song for you. And I asked this. And as soon as I played it, he hadn't heard Eurasian skylark in 60 years. He had a smile on the face, and that was right away. Right. No way he could forget that song that was really special for him. Common birds, brown-eared bulbul on the left, Eurasian cheeseburger on the right. Brown-eared bulbul, I think it's really pretty incredible because most bulbuls are found to the tropics. The only few handful of species, this bird gets morphed up to Russian Far East. It's incredible how tropical birds can evolve to live year-round in a cool place. And it's very loud, really abundant. One time I heard it, I saw one harassing Oriental magpie, and it sounded so annoying to my ears because I'm not used to birds that way. And actually, what magpie felt like 1 meter away here, all that. It must have been awful. This is the only bird I've heard anyone including describe it don't like the so-called crash bird. Because we're back starting to, but they're so common and they're so annoying. So I enjoyed them a lot. The Eurasian tree sparrow on the right is, of course, very common throughout the whole world. In the winter, I saw them in a lot of flocks, usually in reeds next to some body of water. Arctic warbler. So, of course, these warblers, all those warblers, are not related to our New World warblers. And so this is a paper about migration of Arctic warbler. We put geolocators on Arctic warblers in Benoi National Park. One of the authors I think is familiar to most of all of us. And the geolocators attached to the birds, they can teach them like daylight. That can be determine where the birds are in the migration. And you can see it's incredible. The two birds followed. They fly from looks like from almost 40 north all the way down to the tropics. It reminds me of black warbler with the enormously long overwater flight. I saw many of these, maybe I saw 50 of these, so these obviously work taken at overwater flight. I assume they're leaving the southern part of South Korea and then fly that long. Pretty incredible bird. I saw one in Alaska. But seeing these birds in migration, big numbers, all with the geolocator, they have to recapture the birds, which then they did when they returned to the now National Park performing summer. Long-tailed tip. This bird is the same family as bush tip. It used to be, and there's two subspecies. The southern subspecies have a thick black mask, and the northern one is white head. Yeah, ones with a black mask are really common. I see them almost every day birding. They're very, very curious. They can come within 50 meters of you, just to see, they can look at you. And but the northern subspecies is rare. It's 6 months out, not just to see one. That's a very special and all seeing. Then this sort of parrotbill, I regard this as the cutest bird I've ever seen. And it had to get it to eat for it to just capture the mood of this bird. I asked many birders if they feel the same way, and they wouldn't do the bird I've ever seen. And it almost must be very nervous. The found in shrubs usually near water, and in large flocks to be 50 individuals. And they're hesitant even to fly 1 or 2 meters by across. See one at a time, look at them, make a short flight, and how is this appearance? Bird is maybe hard to see. Just like water eye. It's a rare bird we found in South Korea, and you can see the like Irene, just by flanks. And so I was curious because of its rarity, could be some connection to weather. So I did a couple of maps. This is about wind speed about 1 kilometer above sea level. And for this was corresponding to 1 day before the arrival of the bird. And there were westerly winds. If I look the same day, 2 days, 3 days before, the winds were not favorable. So it's very likely the bird we saw made a flight across the Yellow Sea with Northwest Corners and South Korea. And then they did was a meteorologist called a composite. I did an average. I looked at all the bird records, which were only 5. I did an average of them, and they all had the average had these northerly winds. So it suggests that majority of chestnut, like waterline, I like a waterline. Like, the waterline is the tropical African bird. I don't know why I wrote that. And so based on the average of our 5, it looks like it probably migrates up to South Korea. Now, 5 sightings is too small to have any significance. This could not qualify for any kind of publication, just something that's interesting. This is a snowy brown nuthatch, another nuthatch. This is a really hard bird to see. There was one that appeared roughly 100 years old. I spent 9 hours looking for this bird on 3 separate days. I tried and I tried and I tried. And one important thing to eventually find it, if you look up snowy brown nuthatch on Merlin, you'll have 4 different calls. But I was told, very helpful, only pay attention to the 4th call and only the first 5 seconds or so of the 4th call. And so I concentrated so hard for that, it still wasn't enough. And then I had an idea on the 3rd day. And I go to where this bird was seen 2 days earlier, 12 o'clock noon, position myself at a spot, which I knew there was a set of trees that found it, listened hard, and it came. And then I stopped, and there it was. That's the same visual taken by another birder. And it reminded me of my first night of the Grand Canyon. It was a quality day, it was an incredible sight. And this was just such an incredible sight. So I decided to look at the weather map too for some of our nuthatch. I look at the temperature averaged over the winter. And again, they had only found 5 records. So it wouldn't have any test of significance. But the snowy brown nuthatch showed up mostly during cold winters. Snowy brown nuthatch is found in northeast China, in southeast Russia too, but only about pairs. But very unlikely to come from Russia, and also north central China. Probably the bird I saw in northeast China. Interesting. Snowy brown nuthatch's closest relatives are corsican nuthatch and red-breasted nuthatch in North America. And the picture is that the ancestor of storyboard nuthatch, all these birds, right across Europe and Asia. And about 20 years ago, one population crossed, experiencing land bridges in North America, eventually evolving into our red-breasted nuthatch. And then the two populations, storyboard nuthatch in China, Corsican nuthatch from Poland, the island of Corsica in the Mediterranean. Here, this remnant, probably the remnants of a very widespread population. There are 3 common species of turtles thrush. Dusky thrush, Norman thrush, elf thrush. Here they're all photographed, all going through the leaf litter. But this is the one most commonly leaf litter. This is the less common, often person tops, all of the berries like American walnut here. I thought it was interesting that we have 3 species of turtle thrushes all together, and something it's all North American except for the Red Rhino Valley. You have moving through. This is a rare migrant that being for the birds is stumbled across the soul and it's found in shrubs next to water. Other birds came to see it after the word spread. It was exciting. I didn't think I had a chance to see except the groupie throat. There was a thing. So this is a member of the family, big family with many flycatchers, older flycatchers, not new flycatchers, older robins, ears, Northern ear in North America, red scarf, our American red scarf, and named after blue tails. Big time blue tails showed shortly, and one was in New Jersey last winter. Blue throat, which also nests Western Alaska, and many others. Very diverse group all in one family. Red flanked blue tail, common visitor from the polar forests in Siberia. This is either 1 or 2-year-old male, female. They tend to stay in the village, I think, 2 years old for males or female. And almost all the red flanked blue tails from the sea look like this, and even with the northern edge of the range. And that's only 1 adult male, about 125. Very persistent flycatcher. This is a vagrant. This was really incredible. Going 1 or 2 of the flycatcher found each year. And here they were 2 in 1 park. This was the first bird I saw. It's in the fall. And it's so similar to tiger fly. Common fall migrant, but they're winter. So I knew this was a very pleasant flycatcher because the birders found it heard a call. But the second bird was the flycatcher I saw that was really memorable. I went to the spot where bird flycatcher found. And what happened? I stopped. Very pleasant flycatcher. He was right next to me, 1 meter away, started calling. It's almost like he wanted to walk. So it's called. I couldn't believe it. That how would we do that? I couldn't forward that. I didn't decide the office because of the focus. Great. We're in red star, a very common bird, same genus, red star, black red star in Europe. And with red stars, they constantly vibrate with orange up and down. I don't know why. Siberian accent bird. This was the first individual I saw, same bird. Second individual I saw, family, the member of the family melodies, feeding borders on the ground with the seeds. I enjoyed these 2 birds. Then after the second bird, this one, turned around. This is what I saw. A North Korean military outpost. This is barbed wire fence. This is the red zone, and this is on the other side of the house of the zone. Here, three North Korean soldiers, one with binoculars. I had this silly feeling that I'm hoping looking for birds, not people trying to protect. I sort of felt sorry for them too, that they're wasting their lives. But it was sort of a weird feeling, birding and looking at North Korean soldiers. Another rare bird, successful chase for vagrant. This is water pivot. What comes as well with our this is Siberian pivot. we saw an eBird and also the AOS, the recent split from American Pipit. And both American Pipit and this recent split, Siberian Pipit are found in Korea. The Siberian Pipit is more common. So what it has to make sure to do is make sure that it's black legs. In this photo, you can tell that has dark legs. The scope one can tell, so I knew I was looking at. Large flocks, sometimes thousands of individuals. This is the spring and male molting throughout all the village. As pretty bird is bird sign of winter for them, winter time. It's absolutely. I think just like here may feel that like the spare dark-eyed chuckle can be a sign of winter. That's a sign of winter. Finch. This is much less common. I believe see three thoughts. The calls are unbird-like electrical organ call. Maybe enormous jaws and jaw muscles. I think I've read massive people that maybe like 1/3 the size of the head makes a muscle. Practice still. The common road finch is a special bird I really hope to see. And these are rare. Another group found it. I got the GPS coordinates, went there. I was told look for a flock of brambles in seeds. I waited and waited for 45 minutes before the birds appeared. With the flock of brambles, there they were. Finch. These are the also interestingly, these are the ancestors of Hawaiian honeykeepers. They lived to arrive in Hawaii 5 to 7 million years ago. And I looked at some weather maps. There's a flock, I think, in 2014 of ramblings in the Korea Atoll in northwest Hawaii. And they came non-stop flight from the Aleutian Islands. So I think that probably these birds reached Hawaii with 2 steps. At least the rose finches 5 to 7 years ago flying east to the Aleutian Islands and probably some to Hawaii. There were 2 other species of rose finches that I saw in Korea too. Don't accomplish all of them. They're also rather weird. Oriental greenfinch. This is the common bird. Nice and very goldfinch in its call, so it's very familiar. We kind of flock of red crossbills here. If I look at them, I couldn't help but wonder whether they have different call types. That's here in North America, and I've read they do, but it has not been studied very extensively. But maybe recording of the call. Now, last 2 slides about buntings. So there are many species of buntings that winter in Korea, and most buntings are very secretive. The 2 exceptions are the reed buntings. This is a Palearctic bunting. They winter in the eastern marshes. You get pretty good looks at them. And it's interesting that the new little sparrows and over buntings are the same family in Elizabeth. Recently they were split, and now the little sparrows are in family as relatives. These are closely somewhat related to sparrows. Here, this is rustic bunting, and you can see there are many sparrows. You know, beautiful birds outlined in dark knowledge, right? And so questions. Yeah.
You converse with people, do you know Korean or?
I maybe know 100 words without, and most people will speak English.
Okay.
So, you know, most birds spoke English, so that was no problem. Sometimes some of the English wasn't so good, so couldn't communicate. Others were almost like they were born here. It was good. And even if I took a subway, I was confused. All I had to do is look confused. I didn't have to ask them. People would run up to me and offer help. It just takes seconds and I can help. People speaking. That's the problem. In Seoul, it's so easy to get around. Yes.
How do you study that?
I studied the field guides. and the photographs that I showed you. And I think for the most part that worked pretty well. Also felt reading Merlin too, but that was also helpful. Was reading the word description of Merlin, complement photographs. Field guides, pretty much it.
Your take on Korean birders.
Yes.
You have a sense of what they think of American birders?
I think most haven't met American birds. Never thought about that before, and no one has mentioned it.
It sounds like the State College Bird Club should book a trip to South Korea.
That would be really wonderful.
Talk to Kathy.
Yeah, winter birding trips to Japan have been very popular for many years. Now, trees becoming popular too. And one sees a similar number of birds and very similar birds both Korea and Japan. It's a great destination. And I feel like you get to learn that. I feel like I learn a lot more about birds in North America too, because we're seeing birds of a similar latitude. The weather in Seoul is very similar to the college. It's many days below 0 Celsius and snowy and just like there. But you see birds that occupy similar niches and often the same genus. It's really fascinating.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. That's really awesome.
Okay.
I think we've learned a ton.
Not only the photos, but obviously the stories, right? That's what kind of makes it. And thank you for all the